here. This is Utibe, and welcome once again to the Job Hunt Diaries. Like we promised, we are always so excited to bring you very exciting episodes and episodes that will leave you, thinking about your career choices. And today, for every job seeker here, we have a guest, right, who has made a career switch, and not exactly a career switch, but we'll find out very shortly. He's made a very interesting, journey. I mean, his career journey has been quite interesting. He's gone from law to something, in tech, building tech solutions, working for brands globally. And we're so excited to have him on the couch today to share the journey, the challenges, the opportunities, the reason behind this, and a whole lot more. Hello, Emmanuel. Hello, Eyo. It's so good to have you here.
Hello, Tobe. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. So, I mean, just going through your bio, I don't even want to go do that now, right? Because I'm sure that that's going to be so robust from the conversations we've had behind the scenes, right? But then from your personality and the brand that you've built and you're still building, right? It's very obvious that you have made. Now, would you call it a career switch first? And if yes, why did you switch from law to, building tech solutions and even working for, tech organizations globally?
Hi, Utube. Thank you very much for having me.
It's a pleasure.
I will not call it a career switch. I think it's more of a temporary switch, or it was a temporary switch, right? So it happened while I was a law student. So basically, ASU strike happened.
Oh, so you studied, you schooled in the federal university?
Definitely. I did 8 years in the university.
Wow.
8
For
years.
a course of how many years?
5 years.
Interesting. Let's leave it like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically I did 8 years in the university, and during the strike, I had to rethink my life choices, So that was basically my entry into, tech. I got my very first job during the strike, right? So basically, it was more of a temporary switch because it happened while I was a law student. So at that particular point, I had to, create, a career path at that very moment, at that exact moment. So definitely, I would say, while I was still trying to figure out, my degree, I just kept things on hold while focusing fully on tech roles.
Oh, awesome. So, what tools did you use? What helped you in this navigation, or should I call it switch process? You've already said it's not a switch. So, how did you find out about tech? I know that tech is very, everywhere now. It's in talks right now. How did you find out about tech? Your own peculiar story, and then what tools did you use to just keep your edge?
That's a very interesting story. Well, I think
I'm here for it.
my journey was inspired by a friend of mine.
Okay.
His name is Alo. Okay. He's a Flutter dev.
Oh, awesome.
So what happened was there were these guys in our debate club, the AKZs, you must have heard of them.
Yeah, sure.
Kennedy AKZ and Duke AKZ, founders of Keeper.
Yeah.
Right. So they were doing amazing things in tech. And honestly, we knew they were doing amazing things, but we did not know what they were doing. Yeah. Right. So we just knew they were just acing something, but we never really knew what they were doing, right? And how, they got there. Right. So basically, I just admired them from afar, admired, their work and all of that. Yeah. Well, a friend of mine, we hung out at Marina Resorts in Calabar. And this was like way early in the morning. Like we went to Marina Resorts very early just to catch up and talk because, it's very quiet. Yeah. We're just by the sea.
Like you said, rethink your life choices.
Exactly. Right? I was just thinking about my life choices. And then we were just having like a random conversation. And he said to me, do you know you make a great product manager? And I was just like, what is that? What's product management? And he explained every single thing to me, also linked it to, what the KZs did, building, tech solutions to people's problems. And I was just, I was amazed because it sounded so interesting. It sounded so foreign, yet so brilliant,
Yeah.
And I just really wanted to get involved. And immediately I left him that day. That conversation just sparked my interest in tech. I began reading a lot and just took my dive into product management from there.
Oh, awesome. So what tools did you use? You said you read a lot. So are there tools that you use, apart from the internet, the web, right? There's specific tools that you can say anybody should just,
Absolutely nothing. YouTube. YouTube is where it's at, I just watched a lot of videos. I just read a lot on the internet, to be honest. Like even Medium articles. I was just on Medium digesting so
Yeah.
many articles, just reading things from people's point of view. And also I took, Udemy courses, and
Okay.
that was just
I
it.
think it speaks a lot about your interest and the resilience, because that
Right.
that would have come from a lot of dedication
Right.
to those courses. I mean, YouTube is free, but not everybody's making it. YouTube is
I
available to
mean,
everybody, but not everybody's, tapping into
I
that
mean, I
resource.
mean, yeah, in order to be successful in tech or any career, I just feel
Yeah.
like you really need to just be
Yeah.
determined. You need to be
Yeah.
self-taught to
Sure.
an extent. Yeah.
Learning a lot. So, what challenges did you face, in this switch or transition? How would you like to call it? Transition?
Yeah, let's call it a transition, but
Okay.
definitely it was very challenging. I think
And please let me know how you overcame them.
how I overcame there, right?
Yeah.
I'll say stubbornness, but we'll get there. All right. So basically, the challenge, I feel it was not a peculiar one. I believe every single person starting off in a new career faces this. Just
Yeah.
fact that there is no competition. There
Yeah.
is a lot of competition,
Competition.
rather.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's a lot of competition, and it's quite saturated.
Check right.
Yeah, it's quite saturated these
Of
days.
course.
Every single person at some
Everybody.
point, have tried to test the waters. Even if you
Yeah.
like put your hand in the fire and like take
Digital
it out.
marketing is the easiest. That's like the entry route.
I mean, everybody's a digital marketer these
Let's
days.
not go there.
All right. So the thing is, it was difficult for me,
Yeah.
getting jobs, just testing out what I've learned.
Yeah.
It's one thing to learn and it's another thing to execute.
Sure.
So I was learning a lot, just consuming a lot, but there was no practical, right? So I needed an opportunity to, show people that I could build something, show
Yeah.
people I could, create something,
Uh,
right? So I was basically stalking a lot of founders on Twitter. Like if you see
Yeah.
my Twitter DMs 2022, it was a
Wow.
mess.
I can
I was
imagine.
messaging just about everyone.
Were you getting responses, by the way?
Some people were kind enough to respond to me to just tell me, no, we don't want you right now. We don't want you right now. But yeah, I mean, there was this particular founder. He was running a health tech startup.
Yeah.
So he put out a job application on Twitter for a senior product manager. And I remember seeing that and I just went to his DM. I was like, look, bro, I know you're looking for a senior product manager. I'm not. I barely have experience, but please,
I
I
need
want to
this.
work under you. I just want to work under that product manager you're going to hire for no further cost. But I'll bring a lot to the table.
Yeah. Oh,
And he
that's
was
so brave.
yeah, he was so kind enough to like send me a message on like, are you free tomorrow? Let's discuss. I was like,
Wow.
hell yes. That was like my first interview.
Wow.
I was like, hell yes, let's do it.
Was this for a foreign company or
No, a
Nigerian
Nigerian,
based?
a
Okay.
Nigerian-based company, and then we had the interview. But I think I did poorly in the interview because he never got back to me. But like that was like validation that I got a
Yeah.
response.
Yeah, true.
Maybe we're onto something.
Yeah. So how did you overcome these challenges? Because I mean, sending messages, sending cold emails, DMs, and not getting responses can be very, very, draining and emotionally,
Yeah.
demanded.
So definitely, like, I really lost a lot of confidence in what I was doing. At some point, I just gave up, and there's always that 5 minutes giving up where you're just like,
Yeah.
I'm not doing
What
this
am I
again before
really
you go back
doing?
into it again, right? So I think I overcame just by realizing that no one was coming to save me. Okay, so I just began building stuff on my own. So I be just creating dummy
Solutions.
products, creating dummy products, creating surveys, just building a portfolio, just I was just creating a lot of things, and sharing that to people as well. So I remember I
So you
created
built your portfolio yourself with products that you actually built yourself to.
not necessarily like full-blown tech products,
Yeah.
but I just created like dummy products,
Yeah.
landing pages using stuff like Webflow,
Okay.
WordPress, Squarespace, So basically I remember there's this project I did, Move. So I don't know, but I thought it was quite brilliant, right? So I created this startup in my head,
Yeah.
for like a car rental
Yeah.
solution. And
Wow.
I, just created a landing page for it
Mm-hmm.
using Webflow. And then, I created like user personas,
Yeah.
because I sent like surveys out to like a
Yeah.
lot of people.
People.
And then I shared this on my Twitter and LinkedIn. And I received like a lot of engagement on
Yeah.
that. People were like, "Oh, I really love this idea. Like, oh, this
Okay.
is absolutely brilliant. Why haven't anyone built this yet?"
Yeah.
So that just gave me like some level of validation. So I
Yeah.
felt like that was how I overcame, that the initial hiccups I had that could
Yeah.
easily like would have made me like, just give up.
Self-reject yourself.
Yeah,
Okay. So I mean,
exactly.
awesome. So tell us about your first tech job, right? I know now this you had this first interview that you felt you think you didn't do well.
I know I
You
did
know
terrible.
you
I did terrible.
and so of course you did get called back.
Yeah.
So tell us about your first job, right? How did you get it? What did you think were the skills that set you apart from other candidates? Because like you said, it's very saturated, so the competition is really high.
Yeah. So the thing is, most people don't know this, but I never got a product management job.
Oh.
Alright.
Is that the reason why we don't have product manager, as your
Exactly. I
oh
never
awesome.
got a product management job. So I did a lot of reaching out to people, but I never just got a role. I got great interviews, but I never just aced it right. And so, but what I first had, my very first job was a job for a company affiliated with the parent company of Jira.
Okay.
Right. So basically, it was more of a software tester role. Okay. So they wanted someone in Nigeria to
Yeah.
test their products,
Oh
right?
nice.
And I got in through the interview, and I handled that. And of course, I got paid $30, and I was so happy,
From
just having like my first
jumping
payout.
into GMs
Yeah,
to having
exactly. Having my first payout, right? But my first full-time role was with a company called Cariali. So I began using Upwork to look for product
we're
management
going to get
roles,
into that
right?
conversation because
All
it's
right, great,
very
great.
important.
So I began using Upwork to look for product management roles, but I could not just find them. So I remember there was this day I was just scrolling through Upwork and I saw a job post, but it was more of a project manager role,
Yeah.
right? Project manager slash marketing. And I just applied nevertheless because like, well, okay, no problem. I never had marketing experience,
Yeah.
but I applied and immediately I applied for that job. 1 hour later, the founder reached out to me. I was like, oh, let's have a
And that was on
call.
Upwork.
Yeah, that was on Upwork. Let's have a call. So apparently he lived outside the country, but he was Nigerian, right? Or he is Nigerian.
Okay.
So he spoke to me and I felt I felt appreciated because honestly I did not have the skill set,
Yeah.
but he was just willing to take a chance on me.
Yeah.
Probably maybe because I was Nigerian,
Yeah.
but whatever he saw, I don't know. But he decided to take, that chance
Chance
on
on
me, right? And it was heartwarming, right? And that was like my very first role at Cariali. The name of his company is Cariali. So I worked with him. I learned a lot from him because it was like the first time I'd been so close to like
Yeah.
a founder, so like he
Yeah.
was just doing like great things. He was like multifaceted, multifaceted. So like that was my very first role. And he was paying me quite well for my skill set and the value I was offering him because I'm very self-aware. I'm very sure I wasn't offering him a lot, right? But he was paying me like 100 and something thousand naira. So that was like my very first, full-time role. Yeah.
Role.
So yeah, that
We're
was
paid
like
in Naira, right?
yeah, I was paid in naira.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was paid in naira. So yeah, that was like my first job. And I was just happy to be there, to be honest.
But now that you started the conversation around Upwork, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we'll just dive into it a bit because I know you mentioned going to TikTok, Twitter, which is
Twitter,
now
yeah.
X,
Yeah.
going to LinkedIn, just trying to build dummy projects yourself, product yourself, and to show your stuff. And it was not as good as you would have thought.
Yeah.
So how did you now come about Upwork, and how did you make this platform work for you?
So my Upwork story is so funny because I've been on Upwork since like 2018.
Oh wow!
Since 2018.
So when did
But
it?
I never got a
when would you
job.
say it clicked?
2022. I don't think it clicked in 2022 because, of course, I did not get like proper jobs in
Oh, okay.
2022, right? But
But
Upwork
you're
has
so
been,
resilient. That's like 4 years
I
of
know, I know, I
trying.
know, I know.
Awesome.
So Upwork has been the center of my tech career because 95% of the jobs I've had have been from Upwork. You know, funny enough, there's this misconception around Upwork, where people say Upwork is for low quality jobs, Upwork is this, Upwork is that.
They say that.
But
I think what I actually hear is that many Nigerians find it difficult to land jobs on Upwork.
yeah, I mean, there are so many things. There's so many things,
Yeah. And they're all
especially like
misconceptions. That's what you're
negative
saying.
things. Yeah, I believe there are misconceptions.
Interesting.
I have a community of Nigerians. I've been in a company. I worked for a company last year. There were over 10 Nigerians in that company. We had like our own Nigerian
And you
community
all got the job
in
from
there.
Upwork.
And we all got the job from Upwork, like
Interesting.
so many Nigerians are, killing this without,
Yeah.
foreign
So I
identity
think
and
I
all of
think I
that.
think this misconception is really holding a lot of people back
Yeah, it is.
because
It is.
way back, I think if I flash my mind back to like 3 years ago or 5 years ago, I think
Yeah.
2021, that's like
Yeah.
4 years ago actually. I also had this and it was very glaring. It was I believed it so much,
Yeah.
right? That once you're in Nigeria, it's going to be so difficult. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I sold it to so many people. I sold the story. Yeah, it's so sad
Are
that
you going to
thinking about it
apologize
now.
publicly?
Thinking about it now, so this is a public apology because I'm sure I've let so many people down in their career choices. But
I feel
please,
you.
Eyo is helping you see that you can work.
Yeah. But the truth is you have I mean, people that say this actually make a point. I mean, it's a little bit tougher
Yeah.
for us as
But like you said, it's
Nigerians,
tough everywhere.
but it's tough everywhere.
Okay, but
From
as
this side of the world,
Nigerians,
no matter what platform you're using, even if you're using LinkedIn, even if you're using Twitter, even if you are just applying to jobs through
yeah,
job boards, it's difficult.
especially if it is for to
It's
foreign
difficult. So
jobs,
foreign, yeah,
right?
exactly. So
Why do you
foreign
say so, by
jobs.
the way?
Honestly, that's not for me to mention,
Okay.
but like just I don't need to say these
All right,
things
all right, that's
in
fine.
public. Africans have just been somehow wrongly affiliated with scams.
Oh, yeah. And
So
so this narrative is really tying people.
so yeah, this narrative sadly affects like a lot of business owners abroad. Most times they are just worried about someone they can't see. Worried about someone in this part
Yeah.
of the world. There's just so many. I mean, I've been to so many interviews where the first question they ask is, "Where are you based?" And I'm like, "From Nigeria," and then the countenance on their face just
Changes.
changes. So these things happen, but trust me, it's not about Upwork.
Yeah.
It's difficult everywhere, but
Yeah.
I feel like Upwork is like a very great place, especially for beginners to start their career and scale. Yeah.
Wow. So you said you started in 2018, right?
Yeah.
Applying for jobs, and that was when you started, thinking of a career in tech, right?
So when I started Upwork in 2018, I started as a writer. Yeah,
I feel
started as
like
a
that's
writer.
the
I knew,
entry.
yeah, I knew nothing about tech, so I
But you
started
were
as a
already
writer.
building. So when did you start building the dummy projects or products?
2022. 2022
Okay.
was like my entry year.
Okay.
So every single thing, I just went crazy in 2022.
Okay.
So 2018, I was applying for writer jobs. I never got one.
Oh my god.
2019, never got one. 2020, I applied for so many jobs because of the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Never got any. 2021. But 2022, once I made a switch to products management, and funny enough, my 4 years, 2020 was the first time I also had an interview.
Wow.
So
And you
I
kept
never,
applying on that platform
I just kept
for
on
4
applying.
years.
I mean, there are periods of time where I'll give up,
Yeah.
I'll give up for months. I'll always come back to it because I had a friend of mine, Josephine, shout out to Josephine. She's like she was absolutely doing great at Upwork as a writer, So she was doing great. So like,
So that inspired you.
that always inspired me. Like, I was like, Josephine is doing this, right? Let me go back to it. I was always going back. I'll give up. But the important thing is just always
Yeah.
picking yourself back up,
Yeah.
just doing
So
it.
I can imagine that in 4 years, so 2018 to 2022 is like that's like 4 years.
4 years.
In 4 years, probably applied for maybe 100 jobs.
Close to that.
I got no
I
interview,
got no interview
no
as well.
response, and
No
you kept at
response.
it.
I just
Do you
kept
think
at
this is
it.
peculiar to you because you are making a switch and maybe you didn't have skills and experiences in the product space, in the project space, or in this, I mean, in the industry you were in, the career path that you were
Yeah.
trying to get into? Do
Yeah.
you think that's peculiar to you because of your switch from another career, right? Because someone who has probably gotten experiences, maybe working for Nigerians or whatever, has those experiences in their CV, in their portfolio that they can show to recruiters.
Yeah.
So do you think you had this challenge because you didn't have much of these experiences in your CV?
Yeah. So no, I believe I had a challenge because I was a beginner, right? So
Okay.
definitely I know that the proposals I sent were not the best.
Yeah.
I didn't have like so much expertise. So definitely I believe you can just tell a person's level of expertise just from the way they speak, just from the way they write, right? So yeah, sometimes I look back at my old proposals and I just cringe a little, like, what were you doing?
Nobody
What were
would
you
have
doing?
hired this.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even have hired myself.
I can imagine.
So yeah, that definitely contributed to that. But at the same time, the thing about trying is there's no hard and fast route to it.
Okay.
Some people get successful faster than
Yeah.
some.
Yeah.
There could be another person, using, the exact same words I was using. They'll
And they
get a
get it
job, they'll get a
actually.
response,
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that wasn't like
In your case, you
in
got a
my
lot of
case here.
unfortunately. So you got
Yeah,
ghosted, which way?
exactly. So for me, I just always tell myself, no matter what, I'd always tell myself, it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
That's the thing about shooting your shot. It's always a numbers
So the
game.
more you do, the more chances you have.
Yes. No matter how low the probability is, you just have to keep going in order to reach that gold mine
I feel like
eventually.
for many people who are applying for jobs, right? People in the application phase, the challenge really is how to keep trying.
Yeah.
And you said it
Yeah.
that sometimes you stop for months and you're
Yeah.
taking a break, and this is you who
Yeah.
rethought your life choices, and you came into a career path
Yeah.
and then you're like, what's going on? I can imagine that process for you, right? Some months you're
Exactly.
taking a break,
Exactly.
you're getting back at it. But that's like the most difficult part, I would say, for so many people, because they now end up giving
Yeah.
up too fast.
Yeah.
And because, like you said, tech is saturated.
Yeah.
So I mean, you just begin to feel like there's no space for me here.
Definitely.
Anyways.
Definitely.
So, but this leads me to this question, right? So, seeing that you're transitioning from law, like you said, I mean, you're doing both together now, and kudos to you, really, because that's some top notch,
Thank
stuff
you.
there.
Thank
But
you.
see that you're doing both,
Yeah.
or let's still call it a transition, right? From law to tech, a full-blown tech career. What transferable skills did you think, helped you get better in this industry?
Okay. So I think when you are a law student, one of the very first qualities you must have is perseverance. You see that in the Bible, long suffering. You are going to suffer for a long time.
Are you saying this because of your experience in a federal university or law students generally?
Law students generally. I mean, everybody meets in the law school, whether you're a private university student or you're
Yeah,
a boy
true,
university student, you
true.
meet in the law school.
Yeah.
So trust me, you have to persevere, and you have to be quite innovative as a law student, as a lawyer in today's world. You have to be very
Yeah.
innovative. You just cannot be the regular lawyer.
I feel like in any career path at all, you just have to show
Yeah,
innovation.
exactly. So I think, law just, opened my eyes to like a lot of innovation, a lot of ways things are done,
Yeah.
could be done, should be done. So I believe that really helped me in like, just
Yeah.
transitioning into tech. When some people are like, bro, isn't this like too difficult? Okay. I'm a law student. I've
Yeah.
seen worse, trust me. I've seen 99.
I love this emphasis.
I've seen everything up to this point, So I mean, that just helped
So
me.
the endurance is, you're counting that
Exactly.
as part of what
Yes,
you.
a major life skill.
Oh
Major
my
life skill.
God. So how about skills like negotiation, communication? Were these skills very handy in,
Oh
making
yes,
that switch?
yes, thank you. Communication is very important, and I believe law really helped me with that because growing up, I was a shy child. Growing up, I
And you
was a
decided to
very
start the career. I mean, you now ventured into law. That's
yeah, exactly. Growing up, I was a very shy child. Even when I grew up, I feel like my confidence got better a bit, but I was still not an outspoken person, or rather, just keep my thoughts to myself. Right, so I was just a quiet person. But going into law, like from day one, just as a law student in
yeah,
university, things were so different. People were so outspoken. It almost felt violent. I was like, what is going on here? Like, why does this feel like some form of violence? Like, why are people so aggressive? But they were not, right? They were just very firm in the way they
yeah,
spoke. And it just helped me a lot. That just learning how to speak, learning how to put your points across. And it's very important in the tech space because whether you're a founder or whether you're a product manager or you're in marketing, you need to share your ideas with other people. You
yeah,
need to have buy-ins, and you need to
yeah,
speak to people in order to have those buy-ins. And definitely, I don't know how I missed this when you asked me,
yeah,
but definitely communication was like a top
yeah.
quality that law helped me
Helped you,
with.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I like that you're, speaking around transferable skills, communication, negotiation, and the endurance, like a major life skill, as you
Yeah.
said, right? From your experiences in law.
Yeah.
But so what advice would you now give to someone who is making a career switch and starting out, wanting to start out in tech? Bearing in mind that I mean, it was 4 years and more for you before you could, confidently say you're earning in dollars,
Yeah.
right? I like the sound of that, by the way. I like to be your friend. So
Please.
it was 4 years of not giving up, of giving up sometimes and not
Yeah.
giving up, yeah, and picking yourself up. So what would you say is should be that advice? Should be that one thing that early career switchers have in mind while they embark on this journey?
You're going to suffer.
Okay,
You are going
you
to
are going
suffer.
to suffer. I didn't say so. He said so.
You are going to suffer. Like it's not going to be. It's not a quick reach
Yeah.
scheme
So
or
I feel
something
like
like
that's the
that.
reason why people want to go into tech, because it looks
Yeah,
like it's very
everybody just. But
easy.
you have to understand that in the age of AI, things are now a
Hmm.
lot more difficult to
So are you
do.
saying AI is coming after tech, Bruce?
Uh,
Jobs?
not really, not really. Do you know what it's doing? I don't believe AI is scaring anyone out of the market, but I believe that AI is rather empowering more humans into the
Yeah.
tech
Oh,
space,
wow.
right? So anybody can simply pick up their phone these days and put in a prompt and
Yeah.
call themselves a graphic designer.
Mm.
Anyone can put in a very nice prompt
Yeah.
and create videos and say, "Oh, I'm a video editor." Anyone can go to ChatGPT and say, "Give me 7 weeks worth of content for this
And
brand,"
say I'm a
and they
social
are a
media
social media
manager.
manager, right? So what it does
Yes.
is a lot of people are getting into the space. If you thought it
Yeah.
was saturated 2 years ago,
It's a
it's a
lot
whole lot
more.
more saturated
Wow.
now, right? So that's the first problem. So you're going to struggle to find your feet, right? But while you're struggling to find your feet, my advice is just try to make yourself stand out. Try to create projects. Don't wait for anyone to save you, right? You'll get a lot of rejections. Don't dwell on that. Try to build stuff. In fact, that was one of the reasons why I built Eco Africa, just
Mm.
because
You're trying to build a
I was
product.
trying to build a product, right? I I mean, I wasn't on anyone's product team, so I had to use my
Yeah.
product management knowledge
Yeah.
somewhere else, and that was building my own startup, right?
And I think Eco Africa is really doing well now. So I mean, well done, and well done to your team too.
I mean, we can be better, but yeah, we're
Yeah.
grateful. We're
Yeah.
grateful. So definitely, just don't wait for anyone to save you. Try to build things with the little you have. Try to put yourself out there as well. Just amplify your efforts.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to clap their hands for you
Hmm.
if you're not doing that for yourself. Go
Yeah.
on LinkedIn and make noise. Go on Twitter and make noise about the little things you are doing right. And you'll get noticed eventually.
What platform worked best for you? Talking about LinkedIn and Twitter, what platform worked best for you?
None of them worked for me. It was just Upwork. And majorly because I never really showcased um my tech career on LinkedIn
Okay. Is
or
there a
really
reason
on
for that?
honestly no reason. I just built my LinkedIn majorly around my
Your
law
Lord.
career.
Oh.
So
And why are you going to think? Are you thinking of making a change
um
to create that balance?
I'm definitely going to use LinkedIn more now, both ends because of course I'm building my own things these days,
Yeah.
right? So I'm
That's so
really
common with tech people these days.
yeah, I'm really not working for anyone anymore. So I guess I'll be using LinkedIn more now,
Yeah.
right? But honestly, I just didn't see any reason to do it. I mean, it's
At the
just
time.
yeah, it was just conventional. I mean, everyone was doing it, right? But there's no reason for me. Like I wasn't getting my jobs off LinkedIn,
Yeah.
So
So when you say go on LinkedIn, you're just saying go on platforms, go on LinkedIn, go. So that includes Upwork too. I mean, use these
yeah,
platforms.
for sure,
But I
for
mean, to
sure.
just chime in the conversation around looking for projects, right? For instance, Amdari actually provides projects to people who are, especially data professionals, data science, data analytics, data engineer. You want to check amdari.io and you'd see a host of projects. And this will help you actually stay job ready and become more confident when you're making that next application so you don't make a mistake. But I mean, I did something very amazing by even building a dummy product. So
Yeah,
you might also, you just have to be innovative,
for
like you
sure,
said. You
for
have to
sure.
be innovative. So do you want to speak more on, I'm very particular about how I know you said the life skill you got from law school, endurance and all of that, but do you want to speak more about your person and how, resilience has been a major character trait. So I call it character traits now, maybe say characteristics, of your person.
I think from when I was little, most people just describe me with one word, which was stubborn. I'm just
Yeah, I remember
I'm
you said
just
being stubborn was like the way out of the challenge.
yeah, I'm just stubborn to a very hellish extent. That's like a major characteristic for me. I just struggle with hearing no. Like I just always feel like there is always a way. I'm always just trying to make a way, right? So for me, I mean that just helped with resilience, because I I just know that, like I said, I just know that despite the fact that things are not working right now, so sorry I sound like a motivational speaker, but I know that, I mean, if things are not working right now, it's just always a game of numbers. I mean, your failures just prepare you for that one win. And the truth of the matter is, in this space, especially for people looking for jobs, you don't need a lot of wins. That's the good thing.
How do you mean?
So when you're applying for jobs, you're applying for 50 jobs. All you need is what? You need one, right?
Yeah.
So if you get 49 no's and you have one yes, you're great.
Well, let me cut you in on that.
Okay.
I feel like we're even talking about career switchers here.
Yeah.
So you were doing law. You're still practicing,
Yeah.
right?
I'm still practicing.
So many of people who are trying to make this switch are currently involved in an actual day job.
Okay.
So when you say 50 jobs, right? The Herculean tax here most times is where do I even get the time? How do I even balance? I think you want to talk on that. So how do I balance the time with my everyday hustle? Maybe I'm in Nigerian in Nigeria, or I'm living in Nigeria in the UK, probably doing a care job, shifts, day, night, whatever that is. So how do I even balance it to see to it that this tech career, really advances?
I hate to sound insensitive, but the truth is, you just have to make out time. That's it. You just have to make out
Interesting.
time. You just have to make some form of sacrifice
Yeah.
for what you really want, right? I know that in my own case, things were better because of the strike. I had like a lot of time on my hands to like really try out different things. But the truth is, I've had to make sacrifices because I
Yeah.
went back to school to write my final exams. I was working. I was working. Even during my final exams, I was working. But I just knew that I had to sacrifice 3 hours to get things done. You understand?
So wait, 3 hours to make an application. I mean, to make several applications. I'm trying to be practical so that
Yeah.
so people can picture it in their
So
heads,
so
right? So
so so right now, answering this question is not just for the applications. It's also about like learning the new skill. You understand? Because you
okay,
get there, some people going doing like 9 to 5s,
yeah,
but they want to like learn something
yeah,
new. They want to probably
true,
learn software engineering. So I'm just saying like you just have to make out time. 3 hours every day,
yeah.
4 hours every day. I mean, it just depends on your own schedule, right? Just
That's,
find something that
that
works for you,
works.
as long as you're not deceiving yourself, right?
Yeah.
Even if it's 30 minutes
How do you mean
every day.
deceiving yourself,
I
dude?
mean, I mean, we as humans we're so fond of deceiving ourselves without we lie to ourselves, and then it becomes our truth, and objectively it's a lie, right? So we tell ourselves, you could open a book right in front of you and you're looking at it, you're not reading, you're
Are
just
you?
scanning,
Oh,
through it, you're deceiving yourself,
that's
right? Because if questions are asked in an exam, you're not going to you're not going to know anything,
yeah,
right? Literally, you might have just used that time to go watch football or
yeah.
something, hang out with your friends rather than deceive yourself, right? I feel like you sometimes we just allocate time and like, oh, we're going to do this, but we end up not
Not
doing
doing it.
that, right? So even if it's 30 minutes, could
Stand
go a
on it,
long way.
right?
Just 30 minutes every day, just make it count. I mean, that's like just the best way to start
Yeah. I think you can
making that
picture this,
transition.
right? I mean, I feel like everybody has the same 24 hours.
Yeah.
And some people get to make the most out of that 24
Yeah.
hours. So obviously they're just better with time management.
You do sound like a motivational speaker.
Sorry. I'll end it here so that I don't, continue my
Yeah.
motivational. I mean, I might want to start a career in motivational speaking,
I mean, you're going to
Would
make
you,
a lot of money.
okay. But for you, right, that's tip before, I think you should do that. Just time management really
Yeah.
works.
Yeah, it
But
does.
considering, what you said around s- scheduling time, three
Yeah.
hours for
Yeah.
this, what would you say? And then you said it was not just to apply for these jobs, it
Yeah.
was also to learn about the skills, to just get yourself more immersed with the industry you're trying to get into. So what would you say was what you did to stay updated, right, with trends, with new developments, and how did you just keep going? Because it's also very important to stay relevant. Because like you said, I mean, AI is coming, AI is
Yeah.
already here, right? And even with AI, there's so many other things that are, so many tasks are automated these
Yeah.
days. So many other, like you also mentioned innovation.
Yeah.
It's happening. And if you're not staying relevant, you're
Yeah.
going to get outdated. And some other people are going to replace, not necessarily AI sometimes. It will really
Yeah.
be humans that would replace you, right? So how do you keep yourself updated and with the latest trends and developments?
So I'll answer this question from two angles. The first answer is read a lot. Just read a lot.
So it
I
takes us back to time management. Somebody that's not having time. Okay.
I don't think so. I feel like you can always make out that. I mean, you
Yeah.
are eating, you could just pick up your phone and read.
Someone said if you actually calculate the number of the hours you spend on the internet, right,
Yeah.
just scrolling through reels, even though you spent 5 minutes here,
Yeah.
5 minutes there, and 10 minutes there, it would make up for something
And I
that
completely agree. So if you just read a lot, honestly, there's so many sources out
Yeah.
there. You could just from maybe even reading stuff on product hunts, for example. You could think
Thank you
of
for mentioning that. So products, I'll note that down.
you could just think of a startup to build over
Yeah.
here in Nigeria, right? Because Product Hunt showcases new products
Oh.
every day, built, mostly outside the country, right? So you could just steal ideas,
Yeah.
refine it. So
Coming from a lawyer telling you to steal ideas, you better steal it. And then if anything happens, go back to
that
him.
better be off record. So basically, right, that's helped me a lot. And then another thing that helped me, like I said, I made that switch from product management to growth marketing, right? Just because I wasn't getting product management jobs,
Yeah.
but growth marketing is something that, sat well with me because of course like I've run various businesses of my own previously, so that just helped me like with the great entry. But when I started like the marketing side of tech, I realized that I could easily be replaced, right? So what I did to stay relevant was learn a lot. Learn a lot from web development to design
So you're now
to
developing.
copywriting.
Wow.
I basically do everything. Email automations, I basically do everything, right? Are you looking for a media buyer? I do that for
Interesting.
you.
That means you're
You
not
know,
ready to be in this tech if
so
you're not ready to, put
so
in this
so
amount
so
of.
yeah, exactly. So I meet a lot of, especially graphics designers. I mean, a lot of graphic designers that they don't know anything about marketing. You
Why did
know,
you have to come for graphics designers?
because I've just had a conversation with a lot of them. They they are absolutely brilliant, but they don't know anything about
They're
marketing.
just comfortable
So
with
it's
that
very easy to
space.
find
With
graphic
this,
designers are great
yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Canva even makes it so easy for everyone these days to like just be creative and come up with very
Yeah.
great designs. Nobody cares how you get it done, but what you get done
Sure,
at the end of
yeah.
the day. So the thing is, but what if you're a graphic designer that knew how to grow social media accounts? Like you know how to think of the copy for the designs, right? You know how
Yeah.
to run paid ads. Don't you think that will give you an edge over just the guy that is a graphics
I mean,
designer?
even a graphics designer who goes ahead to learn UI UX.
Right. So I feel like in today's world, you just need to just just get better at what you're doing to
Yeah.
stay
So
relevant. Just learn, just go a bit further, just a bit further.
that's I
Just
mean,